Hey everyone, as you know I made the InfiniteSky project open source so that anyone can contribute. A few of you have been having some trouble setting this up, so I thought I'd make a little tutorial video on Windows XP. Now on Windows XP you can't use the windows.github.com version of a GitHub program. You have to use Tortoise Git, and you probably want to grab the 32-bit version if you're on 32-bit Linux, and that also requires mysysgit, and if you've got a very old version of Windows XP you'll also need the Windows installer update, which I'll give a link to all of these in the video description and possibly in the readme.md. So continuing on from that, you go and look at the github.com link, which then down below all the files has the readme, and that says that you need to install Node.js and MongoDB. So I have currently installed these and all the Git packages and everything that I needed. It didn't take very long, but I just did an hour video-ish just before to show you guys this, and the video did not save, so that kind of annoyed me. Anyway, when you get MongoDB, it's basically in a zip file. You just want to extract that. And I'll just go and do some cleanup whilst I'm waiting for that. Wow, go Windows. Hate that glitch. Can't delete files when they're in use apparently. Oh well. So once you've got MongoDB uninstalled and extracted, you want to go into its folder and go into that one, copy everything in this folder to place on your hard drive. I've made a folder in C drive called TSX, and I'm going to create a folder called Mongo. And I'm just going to paste it in there. Now something else you need to do is create a folder for all data to go in. So call that data, and what I'm going to do is go into the bin directory and run mongo.exe. And that is going to try to connect. Okay, it can't connect. Right, I have to run mongod with the settings to run this data directory. So to do that, I usually just make a batch script, which you can make by making any new text document and just renaming it to run.bat. Edit that in whatever your text editor is. Here's some text I prepared earlier. Alright, so that's in the readme.md just somewhere. Okay, well, it's not in that version, but I'll upload one soon. And so you just put that in the notepad file, save it, and then when you run that file, it should run up the server, not crash. Alright, just give them up. There we go. Now, you want to go back into the bin folder and run the mongo.exe. And we need to create the collection and the user on the TS1 database. So we type in use TS1 db.createUser add collection, I think. Maybe it was create collection. TS1. Yep, so it's db.createCollection TS1, and we want to do db.addUser. User is TS1. The password pwd is TS1, and the roles is readWrite. Right as a capital. Okay, now that's all set up, we can safely close this. The other thing we need to get, of course, is the InfiniteSky source code. So we want to right click on this directory here and git clone, and it needs the GitHub URL. So to get that, we just go to the GitHub page, and there's this one here in the bottom right called clone URL. We just copy paste that into the box here and go OK. That's going to download all that code. It probably won't take that long. It's quite a simple project right now. Alright, there's all our code. What we have to do now is create a data directory to hold all the game's data, and this needs a folder inside it called infos and one called world. We can also make one called spawn infos, I believe, and packets. Not that we have much to go on those right now. There will be later. Right, so in the infos folder we need to put game infos, and you can get them from the game directory. So if we go to C drive and go into Alt1 games, Tortoise 1, G03 Gdata, D01 Gimage2D, 005, it's just these 6 image files. We just copy paste those in. Now for the world folder, we just want the WGs and the WMs. So you can search for those, I suppose. *.wm *.wg. Let's try that. Cool. So just Control A, Control C, switch, Control V. If you want to be lazy, you could copy everything, but there's not much point. The server won't use the textures and sounds and things like that. So once all that's copied, what we want to do also is go back up to the code directory, and we want to copy this JSON, config.json dist, and paste it, and that'll create a copy of it. And we want to rename that to config.json, and then we want to edit that in favorite text editor. So this config file has a lot of things that can be edited, such as the message of the day, or the ports that the server runs on, the interfaces it listens on, certain plugins that might load, like the login and the world servers that are actually plugins. The connect string for MongoDB, if you wanted to change any of those details that we set up previously. For example, you might want a more secure password, or you might want to run more than one server. It's got information on the clans for some reason, and right down here is where we want to put our IP addresses and stuff. So you can go start, run cmd, enter, then type in ipconfig, hit enter, and it'll give you an IP address, a subnet mask, and a default gateway, usually on one of your Ethernet cards that are plugged in. So what we want to do is we want to take the IP address. You can just write it down or copy paste it like I am. You can right click mark to get that, and that just goes into this box here, and also this box up here. Well, quote area. Now the mask is going to be a CIDR notation network mask. So what that is it's your IP address with, usually if you've got 255.255.255.0 as your subnet, you knock off the last part of your IP and make it 0, and that's going to be your site annotation mask. And that works for the reason that the subnet mask is XORed into your IP address, I believe. So 255 is equivalent of all ones in binary. So that XORed by 192 is going to be 192, but 0 is nothing. So when you XOR by that, maybe it was AND, I forget. It's been ages since I've been networking, about 4 years. And that'll turn into a 0. Anyway, now that we put them in, we can save that file and exit. We want a CD with a terminal window into the location of the source code. You can give that by going to the folder it's in, clicking up in the address bar and copying it, and then CD space, right click, paste, enter, and then you're there. Providing you had no spaces in it. If you had spaces, wrap in quotes. Change directory is CD in Windows and Linux. Now we want to type npm install, and this will install all of the required dependencies that we use. Okay, it's almost done. And you'll see this making node modules and making npm cache directory. Don't worry about those too much, and if you ever see them needing to be checked in, just ignore them. So what we're going to do here is do a node man, and that will run the server. If there's no problems, it should load up. It'll say something along the lines of all users logged out, and that's when you know it's ready to receive input. It's quite slow loading the game information. I want to try to speed that up and possibly not use restruct for that data. Use the Node.js buffers, or recode restruct to use the Node.js buffers. It doesn't currently, and that's a performance problem. Okay. So when it says all users logged out, that's when it's ready, and we could connect. How do we connect? So that's kind of important. I suppose I should show you that. We'll just go to my computer, C drive. L1 games, DS1. So using the private server connection pack, TSX client pack that we got a while back, we need to use run tsx.bat. We want to create a private server.ino. Where are the settings for this in the readme? There we go, it's just on the bottom here. So we copy paste this and call it private server.ino. So this settings quickly, bypass game card, bypasses game card, module client enables us to use module clients at once. Change IP changes the IP address. If you don't have that on, it'll connect to the original Korean server. Server IP address is the location we want to connect. So if you're running this on your LAN, you might put your LAN IP for other people on your LAN. So that would be your IP config. So what's that? IP config. Yeah, 192.168.1.1.128 is what you put there if you want, say, your brother or one of your friends at a LAN to play. If it was Hamachi, you'd put your Hamachi IP and so on. If it's someone on outside and you want them to connect to your internet address, you need to put your IP address in there for your external LAN, which you can get by googling what's my IP address. In this terminal for the server, you can run bash commands by prefixing them with a hash character. So you could do ping google.com, and that will go off and ping. You don't want to use anything that requires standard input that could break, or anything that changes the screen resolution, or any weird things like that. You can type in JavaScript commands, so you could do something like console.log hello world. You could do something like login. Let's see what's in login. Maybe you want to see infos.item. You want to look at item ID 1 and see everything that it's got for its properties. You might want to see its sale price. Right, maybe it was sale price. Sale price, there we go. And the sale price is free for some reason. What's its name? Something E. Right, so you see something like that, that means you're using the untranslated files, and that's probably the way to do it. But currently the server doesn't use any sort of translation, so you'd want to supply it with translated image files. In the future I want to load the translations from CSV files, which the game DIL would also use to patch the Korean files in memory, and that would give us up-to-date names everywhere that are all English, or whatever language people want to use. And you could have it in any language using a CSV. So you can do infos.exe and see the same sort of info. If you want to see it all listed out like you would normally from a console, just do json.string apply. I put a limiter on the starter so that it doesn't just flood the console. And something else you can do are your own custom CLI commands, which are prefixed with a /help, which show you all commands you could do. So you could do /createAccount, which is kind of important to actually log into the server. Your brand new server setup won't have an account. /createAccount, and then you put space, put the usernames, you might put test, password test, GM level, let's use 100. And that would create you an account of test100. When I fix that problem. Why is that breaking? Okay, so I'll fix that. Yeah. Just some words about the server. It has a thing called VM script that I've been developing, which allows you to reload scripts at runtime. And that has great benefits, such as not having to disconnect everyone from the server and reset it every time you change one small thing. For example, if you wanted to implement the dice game, or someone attacking another player, or attacking a monster, or a monster dropping items, you could code those, and every time you save, the server would reload the code. So if you have no errors, your code's going to run exactly what you've typed in and saved. And that really lets you debug things and develop in real time. And it also helps with collaborative development, which I hope to push in the future with some sort of web interface. Not just for this project, but for any sort of big web project using Node.js. You have main.js, which is your main entry point to the code, and that loads everything you need globally here, and defines a few things that you need, such as the game info loader and the file system. Sandbox is just a sort of an object that we use for any of the virtual code to run, VM code to run. We have our main object here, which is just really a wrapper that we use for some useful things. So we've got like the events emitter in there, a shutdown method. You can add shutdown methods. So if you make any plugin or something, say if you implemented a mail queue or whatever, you'd have a shutdown method to handle shutting down that perhaps. Net translations. Net translations are something that allow the server to work on multiple networks. So LAN could connect, you could connect on localhost, and someone on the internet could connect, if that's all set up correctly, and that's basically defined in your config file. Config.js, and I think it's done under net translations, mask and IP, which is what we used earlier. So if you don't have a static IP and it changes, like your internet disconnects or you restart your modem, you're going to need to update that IP address field. and get anyone on the external end to update their private server INIs as well. So packets, if you want to work with packet development, there's two directories in here, login and world. And let's look at something like the chat packet. Where is it? Chat. Totally blind today. It's like almost 12. There we go. So you've got a bunch of definitions at the top usually that say the kind of structure for the packet we want to send out. So this packet is the Whisper. Oh, that's not the Whisper. It's not. Let's use chat packet. There's a name of 13 characters, a string, a message of 51 characters, an unknown of a length of 2. That's 2 unknown int 32 little and unsigned. So that's 8 bytes we don't know in this packet. I think one of them is the GM color. I'm not sure. So if we get here we've got world PC, which means the world packet collection. We're telling it to set a packet of ID 13 or 0x13 to be this. And that consists of a restruct, which is the structure of the chat packet that we have coming in. We have a function that we use to process this packet with, and that has socket and input as its arguments. Input can be named anything you want. It's essentially this structure unpacked, and socket is the connection to the client. So here we check the input message for a slash, and if there's a slash at the start, position 0, which actually equals, we go gm command execute input message substring 1, so that chops off the slash and executes the rest of it as a gm command and passes in the socket. We then send this, if it's not gm command, we then console log out the message. We might log that to a DB later, and we send out to everyone in the zone that is within area. No, just everyone in the zone and in the same clan, this packet. And we just create a new buffer. We give it the worldpc.chatPacketReply packet. We give it an object which has the packet ID 2a, or 0x2a, which is the reply to a chat message packet. We give it the name of our current character and the message. It's actually that should not be that. Alright. So let's look at a CLI command. We'll just edit helps one. So help runs whenever you type /help in the CLI command line interface. And what we can do is we could type in here console.log hello world, and you'd see it there, hello world. Now that's because we've got dynamic scripts reloading at runtime using VM script. So if we were to remove this hello world, we might just leave it like that, type help, it's gone back to the way it was. I wonder if set interval console.log, let's give that a function console.log hi, and let's call this every 1 second. Oh, gave an error somewhere. So VMscript lints the code to help you find where you might have a mistake. So line 11 expects to see a closing bracket. You can see on line 11 I am missing a closing bracket. Open, 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 close, close, close. No? Oh, yes. The console log one. No, maybe not. Okay. Oh, 1L. Duh. And why is that not 11? help. That doesn't give us a lot of helpful info. So let's try clear interval. Clear interval. Okay, I can't stop that. You can exit the server by pressing Ctrl+C twice in rapid succession, and that should shut down everything nicely if you use synchronous methods to shut down the server. Anyway, that's going to be me just about, because I have to go to sleep. So, hope this helps somehow. I will publish up the instructions that I used, and yeah, do another video later, perhaps on Linux, or showing more config options and fun things we can do with scripts. I have to implement the world server and do documentation too. See ya.